Bones and exoskeletons provide anchorage for muscles and act as levers. This understanding is pretty self-explanatory, as anyone can see from a skeleton that bones make up the structure of our bodies. The function of bones are structure, production of red blood cells, movement, protection, and storage of minerals. There are two types of skeletons: internal skeletons, which are made up of numerous bones, and external exoskeletons, which are composed of connected segments. Bones act as levers that respond to muscular contraction in order to aid in movement.
So here we're showing that ligaments connect bones to other bones while tendons connect bones to muscles. So here's an example in the knee. An analogy related to this is how a ligament is like a cable or twine, which, when stretched too far and too fast, begins to fray. In this frayed region, small blood clots form and the body begins the process of repairing the ligament. Synovial joints, like the elbow, allow certain movements but not others. Synovial joints are capsules that surround the surface of where the bones connect. They consist of three main components. First is the cartilage, which provides smoother movement and absorbs shock on the bones. The second is synovial fluid, which provides oxygen and nourishment to the cartilage. The third is the joint capsule, which restricts the movement, provides stability, and seals the joint space. There are 6 main types of synovial joints found throughout the body: pivot joints, hinge joints, saddle joints, ball and socket joints, condyloid joints, and plane joints. We'll be focusing on hinge and ball and socket. This is what a ball and socket joint looks like. This is the hip and the femur. This is a demonstration of an example of a hinge joint. This is the knee. Muscles connect to bones via tendons and contract to facilitate movement of the body. These muscles exist in antagonistic pairs in order for the body to be able to move in opposite directions. An example of this is the antagonistic pair of your biceps and triceps in your arm. Your bicep helps you raise your forearm, while your tricep facilitates the opposite movement of extension. Skeletal muscle fibers have many adaptations to aid in their function of contraction. One such adaptation is that because muscle fibers form from the fusion of individual muscle cells, each fiber is multinucleated. Another adaptation is that muscle fibers contain specialized endoplasmic reticulums that are called sarcoplasmic reticulums after sarcomeres. They are specialized to better store the calcium ions that are necessary for the contraction of the sarcomeres and the muscles, leading to movement of the body. Here's a muscular breakdown. Muscles in our bodies, such as the biceps, are made up of several muscle bundles tightly packed together. Each muscle bundle contains many muscular fibers linked together. Muscle fibers are made up of many myofibrils, which are then divided into segments known as sarcomeres, which contract in order to contract the muscle and provide movement for the body. There are 2 main steps in muscular contraction, the first being depolarization and calcium ion release. An action potential is sent from a motor neuron, as is shown, resulting in the release of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is like a phone call from your brain telling your muscles that it's time to contract. Step 2 of muscular contraction is actin and myosin cross-bridge formation. On actin, the binding sites for the myosin heads are blocked by tropomyosin and troponin. Calcium floods into the muscle fibers and binds to troponin, which causes the tropomyosin to shift and unblock the binding sites on actin. The myosin heads then bind to the actin. This relies on the use of ATP. The cross bridge formation is similar to a rowing team propelling their boat. The paddles of the rowers represent the myosin heads, and the water is similar to the actin. When the rowers dip their paddles in the water, their boat is propelled. Similarly, when the myosin heads bind to the actin, the muscle contracts more. Then the myosin heads continue to rebind to actin until the muscle has contracted fully. The continual rebinding of the myosin heads results in the contraction of the sarcomere. An application is antagonistic pairs of muscles in an insect leg. In the process of jumping, the flexor muscle will contract and the extender will relax, bringing the tibia and femur closer together. The legs of the grasshopper release and it jumps when the extender muscle contracts and the flexor muscle extends. Next, we looked at a scale in the subunit. The elbow is a synovial hinge joint in the human arm. Here we can see the synovial fluid in the joint capsule connecting the humerus to the radius and ulna. We can also see the antagonistic muscle pair of bicep and tricep in the forearm.